Fall is finally here. Woke up and it was 25 degrees, had to scrape frost off the windshield, and I was not ready for that. So I don't even have a winter hat, don't have any gloves. We went from 70s down to 20s, and now we just got to the lake. It says it's 21 degrees here. So this is the lake, but technically between here and the lake is private property. We're gonna drive another half mile up where there's some public access. Unfortunately, it means I'm gonna have to walk a lot further than if this was public land right here. Everything I do is on public land. So this lake has never been surveyed by the DNR. It has a really small creek flowing into it, and I actually drove over it on my way here, and this is the first day it's been below freezing, but this creek actually had ice on it already. I'm guessing that's not a good sign. Just looking at this lake from right here, I can see there's some big boulders out in the middle. On satellite imagery, I could see the whole thing was covered in weeds, so I know it's really shallow. I'm hoping it holds some pike. I did bring some worms. Unfortunately, my fridge was really cold this morning, so the worms were kind of frozen. So we'll see if they work. I don't know how long I'm gonna last because I don't have gloves. The good thing is there's no wind yet. So we're gonna try and get a panfish out of here, maybe get a pike. That would be awesome. We'll see you on the water. So we just got to the trail that I was hoping would get me close to the lake, and there's a canoe access sign. I think that'll mean that we can get to this lake, and maybe is a good sign that there's fish in it. My hands are already cold. This is not good. And no gloves in there either. Got some lures. Got a fishing pole. Huh. I might wear these chainsaw gloves. That might save the day right there, as long as they don't get wet. They'll be better than nothing. All right. Man, it's cold. Whew. It's gonna be pretty easy walking, but it's still gonna take a little while. Be a little work dragging this guy. Fuck. Maybe I gotta let my fingers warm up first. Oh, I see water. Unfortunately, I think the trail kind of parallels the lake for a little ways because there's still private property in between there. We're getting there. We're about 2/3 of the way there. I'm actually getting warm. Glad I have these gloves because I know that handle is really cold. But overall, it's pretty comfortable. There's no wind. Trail is well maintained. That's a good sign. My concern is I was going downhill this entire way. So coming out of here, it's gonna be an uphill walk. We'll deal with that later. Let's get on the water. We're almost to the lake. I can see the water. My arms are tired. It's a lot of work hauling this kayak. Wow, this is gonna be an easy launch. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful. Wow. All right, let's get in the water. Let's get to fishing. Let's have a good day. I got a good feeling about this one. Oh. Crap, I don't have a net. Guess we'll deal with that when it becomes a problem. Wow, is it ever quiet? Good day for topwater. This is what it's all about right here. Watching the sunrise. Enough talking. We're starting out with a jig and a crawler. Let's see if these crawlers thawed out. A little bit in the car. They're definitely not too lively. That doesn't really matter. We're just taking a little chunk off. Feed it right on. I guess I don't want to get my hands wet yet because that's going to be chilly. We'll just start casting right here. Good sign is I made 2 casts and I didn't catch a weed. Bad sign is I didn't catch a fish. It's either going to be chock full of panfish or it's really not going to have much at all. We got to keep moving. Man, I'm itching to tie on a spinner that I can buzz across the surface. Just need to catch one panfish. Got ice building up on my line. Come on, sun, warm it up. My patience is dwindling fast. And I haven't had a single bite on this jig and crawler, which is not a good sign. Let's go check out that rock in the middle. We're taking a quick intermission to give you guys a quick update on the sweatshirt sales. So if you're new here, I'm trying to sell sweatshirts that I designed about this series, and I'm wearing one right now. It's called Lake Pitwafiog, and the lake name actually comes from put in the work and find your own hidden gem. So it's not a real lake, but it's a fun sweatshirt to wear. People can ask you, where the heck is that? And you can say, put in the work and find your own hidden gems. And I'm trying to raise money to fund a snowmobile for continuing this series into the winter. We've got a link to an Etsy shop set up. So I appreciate everyone who's bought one so far. If you can't, that's all right. Just comments or watching this video helps as well. So far, I'm about a third of the way to my goal. So really appreciate the support so far. Now let's get back to fishing. I'm starting to think pike are easier to catch than panfish. Maybe it's just I don't know how to catch panfish. I'm open to suggestions, guys. I thought a jig and a crawler would be a good bet. Something splashed. That might have been my crawler that just flew off though. Alright, I hope you guys forgive me, but we're jumping right into the big fish, which is probably going to be bass or pike in here. Getting rid of the jig, getting rid of the crawler. We're throwing on Old Trusty, if I have an Old Trusty with me. First things first, we need a leader, and then we'll use this one. This looks like a good color. Alright, now we're in the prime. I think I'm going to try and work down to that other end before this wind picks up, and then I can use the wind to drift back. This is really just one big, shallow rice pond. Good for duck hunting, maybe good for pike fishing. Started out with the jig and a worm for maybe 10-15 minutes. Didn't have a single bite on that. Patience ran out, switched over to the spinner. Been using that for about 45 minutes now. I haven't seen a single sign of a fish. I've got about halfway around this lake already. There's a lot of this, I think it's wild rice. I'm not really good with identifying plants or weeds or whatever, but there's a lot of vegetation coming up. Everywhere I go, it seems to be about 2 to 3 feet deep or less. It would be nice if we can find a spot where water was flowing into this lake. I thought I saw a spot on the satellite imagery that might have looked like a creek, but hard to tell. If we get to that spot, they might be stacked up. That's way down on the other end of the lake, kind of close to where I came in. We're just gonna keep working around the perimeter of this lake. I did go out in the middle for a little bit and cast, and even in the middle, it was like 2 to 3 feet deep. I guess we'll just keep trying. We're changing things up. We're throwing on a little beetle spin tipped with a night crawler. Trying to downsize. Maybe there's a bunch of small pike in here. Anything. A little bass, walleye. Just need something. Hands are getting cold. Good thing it's not windy, and good thing I haven't had to touch a fish yet and get my hands wet. We're getting close to the other end of the lake. If they're stacked up anywhere, if there's any flowing water down here, this might produce a fish. That'd be a cool spot to camp. Look how wide open it is in there. Right on top. That would be a fun adventure. If there was fish in here, though. Alright, coming down to the other end of the lake. I don't see any spots where water would be flowing in, but I could be mistaken. No signs of fish, no signs of life, nothing going on. Come on, this is right where they should have been. These weeds look really good for pike, but how deep is it? That's the bottom right there. Only a couple feet deep. If I could just buy a bite, something to make me want to come back to this lake. I feel like it has fish, but I haven't seen any signs of anything. It has everything it should need to hold fish. It's got good weeds, lily pads, but it is shallow, so maybe it winter killed. I hope there's someone in that cabin over there just laughing at me, thinking, what the heck is he doing with a fishing pole on a lake that doesn't have fish? It just looks so fishy, though. That's what frustrates me. That was a fish. Something just went swimming off. Something small. I wasn't looking, but there was a swirl. There's something around. Come on. I believe that's the trail, actually. So, it's one last cast. And that's all she wrote. Oh, come on. Almost there. I've got boots on. I don't want to step in the water. Alright, there we go. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. And that's what makes catching fish in these lakes so fun, is because you have lakes like this where there might not be fish in it, but I'm still not convinced that there aren't fish in this lake. It looks so fishy. It was big. I saw signs of people. There's a trail that comes right to the lake. There was a boat right next to the launch, just down there, flipped over. So someone stashed that and uses it, whether it's for fishing or duck hunting. And there's a cabin just down there. So people use this lake. I don't know if they use it to fish, but they definitely use it. Was I throwing the right lures? Was it the wrong time of day, wrong time of year? Are there even fish in this lake? Guess those are questions that will be left unanswered.